Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Wednesday morning, February 21st. So far, so good. No, I'm just kidding. What are we going to talk about today? I thought today we'd talk about feeling good in your own skin. And sometimes how I see people, because I enjoy watching people and reacting with people to see how they do things, okay? So I'm a student. But let's talk about a certain type of individual when we get back. Stay tuned. Alright, so welcome back. My name is Eric. I got two dogs here with me, Sheeby and Shelby. This here is I do the weekend and I also do the weekday. This is the weekday videos, Monday through Friday. And I try to pick a topic that would be something that would be interesting to more than one of you. So I thought today we would talk about what I call the One Upper. And what is the One Upper? Alright. So the One Upper, no matter how well they're doing, if they're doing great in business or, personal life, this and that, they still never feel comfortable in their own skin. Okay? And they feel less than everybody else. Now, they could be standing next to somebody that is on a fixed income getting, say, $700 a month, and they're rolling in it, but they still feel the need to tell that person on the fixed income how much they're making and how successful and this and that, because they don't deem themselves successful, if that makes any sense. See, it's all about how we feel about ourselves, right? It's less about what other people think. It's more about how we think. And the one-upper, I know, one of these people that's out there. You go to a party and everybody just wants to get together and have a good time and visit, catch up. And there's always that one individual that's got to let you know how much money they're making, how successful they are. And they flaunt. Maybe it's a girlfriend half their age on the shoulder, on their arm. Or have to tell you all the things that they have or own to show you how successful they are. And I've actually said to certain individuals like this, come on, chill out, we're here for a good time. We don't need to know all that crap. You're a good guy. But they can't stop. If somebody's done it, that person's done it umpteen times and better every time. What is the pattern? The pattern is they always feel like they have to come out and let you know that they've done better than you. And a lot of times, if you're the one on the receiving end, it's a turn off, right? A big turn off. Because if you got somebody who's really successful and they're telling you how much money they made, I would just simply say, that's great. But we don't need to know that, right? We don't need to know all this other crap. Just relax. Enjoy and stop. But they can't. It's in their head. And they plow their way through any event or function that they're at. And they can't wait for it to end so they can go home and just relax. And then they do an inventory of the event, function, what have you, that they just were at. And they feel like crap. And they're like, why am I doing this? Why do I do this? It's simple. It is. It's really simple. You don't deem yourself as successful. You don't deem yourself as good enough compared to everybody else. And why is that? See, that says more about you than it does about everybody around you. It says, why do you need to impress me? Why? Because it makes you feel better. I've also seen at party and functions where the person has to be the center of attention. Stop. And you think they've got it all going on, right? And they can't stop. And they go around and introduce themselves to everybody, and different ones are saying, oh, how great that person sounds and this and that. And they go home and they break into tears because of the stress involved in having that function and trying to be somebody that they're not. See, a lot of people plow through and make you think that on the outside they're doing wonderful or over the top. Whereas in their own personal life, it's not so grandiose, is it? And we've talked about that. I've talked about that in prior videos of taking the most popular girl in high school. Everybody thinks she's got it going on. What does she have to complain about, right? She's popular. She is the popular person on campus. And here's the problem. The problem is they work hours, countless hours, on creating a persona to put outwards so that no one will see how undeserving they feel they are. A lot of times what they put out, they feel just the opposite. And I'm not saying all people, because that's too generalized, but there's a good chunk of people out there that are just like that. And we talked about, in last week's video about why people are lonely. The biggest reason people are lonely is because they don't feel comfortable in socializing with other people and being truthful and honest in how they feel. That they suffer with that home alone by themselves. But the good thing is with us, we get to choose how we want our life to go. So, how would I recommend to that individual that is the most popular but cries when she gets home, or the person that's at the party that's One Upper, or the one that has to constantly prove to you how great they are? What would I tell them? Stop. Stop. We need to see the real you. I'm serious. We need to get you comfortable within yourself. And if this is you, then this is a good video for you. People become insecure. And when we're born secure, but mom and dad take care of us, right? And we work our way up through. And depending upon how many interactions that mom and dad allow us to have to fail or succeed, the better the person normally you're going to be as you grow up. You'll have more experiences. With more experiences, you get wisdom, right? Time. It's that simple. But in today's society, you don't have as many functions. You don't have as many in-person type interactions, right? So how do we make ourselves feel better about ourselves? We have to first try to figure out, why do we need to impress others? Why? So that we feel better about ourselves, but we feel worse off after you get done doing it. So it just resets and tells ourselves again that how worthless piece of crap we are to do it all over again. And it's taking you time to get to this point. So it's going to take you time to get out of that point. I was that person when I was younger. I always tried to prove things, and I always tried to let people know how much better I could do it than them, and it had nothing to do with them. It had all to do with me. And it was a turnoff to a lot of my friends, because I had this internal drive going on of, you have to get better, you have to get better, you have to get better. And sometimes you start thinking that instead of being glad that you're at a certain point, which is great, you don't feel that way. You feel the need to have to prove everything you're doing and saying. But I could see it was slowly a turn off to a lot of people, because a lot of people stopped wanting to be around me. And I don't blame them. Not one iota. So I went from being that to someone that hardly said anything. And I was saying a lot internal, but external, I was afraid to speak. I was afraid to, cause any rift or have anybody dislike me for what I said. So I changed my matcha to don't say anything at all. So I went from here all the way to here. Like 0 to 60? Well, 60 to 0 and below. Now, I'm not saying anything. I'm just standing there shaking my head. And that was my interaction, because I did not want to be that person that felt the need to be better than anybody else. Because I already knew I wasn't better. See, that's the key, is take an accounting of yourself, and nobody knows you better than you, right? So What is it that has to take place for you to feel good about yourself? That you don't need to prove to anybody else who, what, where, and how you're doing. Okay? What is it going to take? Well, a lot of it is self-confidence. Self-confidence comes with, time, experience, and wisdom, right? The more you do it, the better you get at it, the less you need to tell everybody else how good you're doing at it, kind of thing. I think I've used this before as well. You take someone that has gone through the military and has come out special forces. Do you see them trying to pick fights? Do you see them trying to tell you that they could kill you within a couple moves? No, because they already know it. They don't need to tell you crap, because they've got the confidence in their skills and in themselves. And they had to go through holy hell to find it. But I've seen this with older people too, had that same mentality of not good enough. You are good enough. You've always been good enough. And good chances are most of the people around you already see what you have become. If you are running a business or, raising a family, or doesn't matter. So again, the best advice I can give to you is stop. Stop with a one-upping. Stop with adding to the story to make it look or make it sound better in your ear. See, sometimes you exaggerate too much to the point of where people know that that's not believable. And the funny thing is if you lie to me, then I will start discounting anything else that you've told me. And I think that is probably more often the case with a lot of people is, we talked about trust in a prior video of I went from you being untrustworthy to trusting you until you gave me a reason to be until you gave me a reason to think you were untrustworthy. Same applies here. I'm going to trust you until you get to the point of where instead of just saying how it really was, you have to embellish. And you embellish so much that it's way over the top. And I know it's way over the top. And I know that you're not being truthful and honest to yourself or to me. And I have to ask, why? Again, it goes back to how you feel about yourself. It has nothing to do with me as a listener. It has everything to do about yourself. So here's something that might help you out. When you start to speak, if you know you're going to start telling a lie, stop. Don't speak. Not even close. Don't even say a peep, unless you're willing to say just the way it is. When you go to a social function, or you're around other people, maybe it's a meeting at your workplace. If you start feeling that you're going to start one-upping, stop. Don't say anything. Don't say a peep. And just sit back and listen. And one of the things you're going to start to do is you're going to start to appreciate that you don't need to be the center of attention to be liked. And a lot of people will like you even if you're quiet. More so than if you are embellishing and one-upping, right? Because, what a doofus. My grandfather used to tell me, I know it wasn't his words, was, it's better to have people think you're stupid than open your mouth up and let them know you're stupid. Right? So I'm going to start wrapping this up. If you guys want a more in-depth video, if this kind of resonates with you, I'll do it. If not, then I won't. But on that note, you guys have a great Wednesday. If you get anything of value from the channel, please subscribe and like, and share with your friends. Just enjoy life, I guess is what I'm trying to get across and through all my videos. And let's get you where you need to be. All right.